Hi, welcome to Q the Next Leader. This is Angela Rizzo, Chief Marketing Officer at VINCUE. Today I have the pleasure of speaking to Ray Clark at Byerly Ford in Louisville, Kentucky. Ray is focused on using the VINCUE Vehicle Buying Center to buy used cars for his dealership. Ray deployed the VBC just a few months ago, and already he and his partner in crime, Kenny, are buying 20 cars a month. Ray uses a common sense approach to select the vehicles that he needs. And he's going to tell us all about his process and his experience working with VinQ. Let's listen in.
Started in the car business kind of late. It's probably about 15 years ago, whatever. And then probably about 8 years ago, I started buying cars. So that's really all I do at the dealership is buy cars.
How long have you been in the car business? Did you say 15 years?
Yeah, about 15 years.
And so you say you buy the cars. Do you run the BDC? Do you run the Vehicle Buying Center? What's your title and your role there at Byerly Ford?
Basically, I don't run the BDC at all. It's expanded because at first when I came here, it was just to, try to buy cars at the auction. But then we've expanded mainly with you guys because now we're trying to get more cars off the street than at the auction because the thing was in the past, usually you're buying 3-year-old lease cars. People turning in their cars, but people quit turning in their cars a couple of years ago. So, anyway, that's so now we buy a lot off the street and through VinCue. Yeah.
Great. So you are the guy at the dealership that is in charge of the Vehicle Buying Center.
Right. That is just me. That's all I do. Yeah.
Are you the only person that's buying cars at the dealership?
Yes. Sometimes my boss will look at the local auction here, which is Clark County Auto Auction, and occasionally he'll look around, but 95% of or more of all cars bought are from me. Yeah, by me.
Okay. And how many cars would you say you buy in a month?
Yeah, so right now we're probably doing 20 cars a month, mainly through off the street, VinCue, and just a few at the auction.
Okay. And how long have you had the VinCue Vehicle Buying Center?
I think we started that in May or June. May, I think it was. So the way we operate is that Kenny now goes through VinCue, and he will check. We don't have really. We kind of have rough criteria of what we want. And so he'll go through there, and if there are cars that are reasonably priced, he'll get their VIN number, and then he gets it to me, and then I'll do the appraisal and get it back to him, and he does the contact with the customer. So it frees me up to look for cars at auctions and to do the VinCue. Because
what's the radius, the number of miles that you're searching around your dealership to
40 miles.
40? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's amazing, the people, they will come here because we're going to hand them a check when they get here, so.
Yep. Do you find that you're getting better quality leads from Facebook, Craigslist, autotrader.com, or Car Gurus, or are they're all just part of what you're seeing in the app, in the VinCue app? But does one stand out more than others?
I think we're getting better response from Facebook, because I think on Facebook, sometimes people are just trying to sell their car, but it's Car Gurus and Auto Trader and Craigslist, I think they feel that their car's worth a little bit more, and they think that that process will work better. We'll buy from those people, but it may take a month for them to realize, you know, we will just write you a check.
Are there some features or functions that you really like?
Yeah, the thing that jumps out the most is I can see pictures, I can see the car, and you know the miles and what they're asking. And that makes going through the list and what cars you're interested in very efficient. So that's the big thing I like about that is it's the speed with which you can go through the cars. You know, if you're, because we'll either use your, or Kenny now, we just use a Kelley Blue Book appraisal. You know, what's your car worth, and your appraisal to give us an idea. And if they're in that window, close, you know, within $1,000 or $1,500, $2,000 sometimes, you know, we go, well, let's give them a number. So it's just the speed with which we can decide on which cars to go after. We can get to people fast, especially if they're, you know, within range. But we also, so let's say if someone's like, we're $5,000 off, so we just set them aside and wait for them, because what's the other neat thing that VINCUE does is, so if we trash something, then they come back out, that we can tell on VINCUE that, you know, they've dropped their price by $2,000 over a month ago. So now they got a reality check, so now we'll go after them.
Yep.
So that's another thing that I like about it. We can just throw something aside, and if they do come back, we'll see that number and we'll see where they were, you know, a month ago.
Yeah, because it tracks all the data by the VIN, right? So that data is already there. It's all there on the platform.
Yeah. That's very helpful.
Have you ever do you actually deal directly with the customers when they come in, or are you just setting the appointments for them to come in, and then another individual in the dealership will handle the conversation with the customer?
Yeah, I greet the customer, and then I go out and inspect the car and test drive the car for a mile, and then let them know. Every one that we have dealt with so far, we've been okay with. We've never changed our number on them. Because they were always, everyone's always been honest about the condition of their car. Because sometimes can it go, is your engine light on? If it has, you know, it has like 140,000 miles, he'll check, you know, is your engine light on or anything that we need to be aware of before you come in? And then he'll also give them instructions on, you know, if you have a payoff, what you need to do to bring in. So everyone knows before they come in what they need to do, and Kenny will always ask to make sure, is there anything you need to tell us about the car? So every time they come in, then I just take over from there, and it's always been very smooth. We have the people in and out of here, and probably on average in 20 minutes or less.
Wow, that's amazing. They must love that process.
Yeah, they do, and we've just added something to that. If they do not have, if they're from the state of Kentucky, and because we do get Indiana people too, but Indiana, we can't see the OBIS to see if there's a lien on it, but we can in Kentucky, and if they don't have a lien on it, we'll go ahead and make the check ahead of time, just because of the track record we have. And so when they come, they're out in less than 10 minutes, because I'm just going to inspect the car, say it's okay, and just hand them the check, and they sign a couple pieces of paper and the title. So we're trying to make sure that people are really happy, because I think when you meet me and I already have the check out, but I'm gonna go check the car, people are pretty comfortable at that point, realize, yeah, this is gonna work.
Right.
So we're hoping by word of mouth that helps get around a little bit.
That's really a great process. Do you find that they come back and then buy a car from you at some point, or is it just kind of a one transaction and then they're done?
We've had 2 people come back.
What kind of reaction are you getting from your customers about your process?
We've had pretty good luck because, like I mentioned, they know what's going to happen when they come in, and I think that's always been, sometimes in the sales business, car sales business, you're always leery of, what's going to happen when I get there, how am I going to. So we try to let them know exactly what's going to happen when they get here and what they need to have. So, we have not had one problem. The only problem we have is ahead of time, well, I can't find my title, so you just got to file for a duplicate title, and it'll take 3 to 5 days, and we'll just come in and do it. It'll be fine. So, so everyone seems to leave here pretty happy, as far as I can tell. Yeah.
Do you have any other comments? Do you have any other comments to share, Ray, about your experience?
I guess the key about this is, as I mentioned before, it's when you have someone that's within your range, within a couple $1,000s, the faster you get to them and the faster you get a number to them, they're going to pay attention to you. That's what I think it's. We try to have our, incoming, cleared out, as fast as possible in the morning and at the end of the day. I think if you do that, you're gonna reach your goals. You're always gonna have something go a little bit fiery one way or the other sometimes. You may get extra lucky or bad, have some unluck. I just think if you stick with it and do it right away in the morning, at the end of the day, you contact those people that are in that range, you're gonna get cars. So when you go to auctions, I'm looking at Fords and Nissans, because it's so competitive now, it's really hard to buy outside your group or your store. But on VINCUE, we bought 2010, 2012. We're buying, it's premium cars that cost $10,000 to $15,000. Most people cannot write a check for that, and those cars are worth that. And you're getting that mid car, that's an easy car to sell versus an expensive car. So it's the variety of cars that you can get, plus that mid-range car that, with 80 to 120,000 miles, it's worth like $12,000 or $13,000. And that only way that person's going to get that is usually from someone that can just write a check for it. So that's changed our lot. The VINCUE cars are, because they're more the average car out there. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, it did. It did. So when you go out and look for those cars, are you going as far back as 2010, or do you go further than that? Does it just depend on the car make and the miles?
I just kind of use my common sense in that we really don't go back more than 2010. He'll look, and if he thinks it's something interesting, he'll let me know, and I'll look at it. We don't want to close the door on anything. We don't want to get too old of the car. And then on the miles, we kind of limit it to 140, 150,000 miles, because we have to retail it, and most of the time we have to finance it, so we have some limits on that. So he doesn't have set limits, but he doesn't go too far outside this limit.
And I guess you found that is those makes and models and mileage that gives you the best ability to turn the car as well, right? You're looking for things that you're gonna be able to sell, right?
Yeah, because we bought I can't remember what it was now, but buying a car for $8,000 and turn around and sell it. And I mean, people, $11,000 car with 100,000 miles. It's not a small car. I can't remember, it's a Chevy something. People want that. They don't want to spend a lot of money for it.
Yeah, if you can keep it in that range, that's definitely, you can either, if you do have to finance it, your payments will be pretty small. Or, many people can probably just write a check.
So the other factor that goes into that is if we have a car that's 9 years, so it has to be a 2013, and if it's under 100,000 miles, it gets a week out of warranty to put on that car, which makes it's like a 90-day warranty. 100%. Anything goes wrong, we'll fix it. And people really like that because that way you're not going to be caught off guard by something happening right away. Something just happened to the car. It wasn't something that we knew about. So that's what helps. So that's a little window we have of being able to, but some of these cars are able to pass on to the too. I do think that sometimes, maybe missing this in a lot of world at all times, but it's just common sense. You're looking at cars. If you would like the car, then someone else will like the car.
Thanks, Ray. I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Cue the Next Leader. You can find out more about VINCUE and our solutions at VINCUE.com.